Hello Palworld fans, today I wanted to show you guys a little experiment I conducted to see whether or not work speed actually has any impact on ranch farming. I've read online that it doesn't, but I strongly disagreed, so I wanted to test this myself. I think you'll find my results very interesting. My experiment basically consisted of placing 4 different chiquipies inside a ranch on their own for exactly 5 minutes to see how many eggs they produced. Each chiquipi's work speed stat was altered in some way for the experiment, but all of them were initially bred mostly identical. They were all level 1, work speed of 70 and no work speed modifying passives to begin with. The only thing I did was give them all the nocturnal passive, so that sleep did not interrupt my experiment. Note that none of the chiquipis left the ranch during their 5 minutes to eat or rest either. So firstly, I needed an unchanged control chiquipi to compare the other 3 against. I placed this chiquipi inside the ranch and started my 5-minute timer at the exact moment the word grazing appeared above its head when it entered the ranch. I withdrew my chiquipi from the ranch using the Palbox control device the moment my timer hit exactly 5 minutes to ensure they didn't produce more eggs, whilst I was fiddling around trying to get them out of the ranch or stop my timer. This control chiquipi produced 8 eggs in 5 minutes. Good to know. Next, I wanted to test the impact of Pal souls on ranch work speed. So I gave my second chiquipi max souls at the stature of power to increase its work speed stat. Doing this supposedly provides a 60% boost to work speed. I repeated the experiment and my soulful chiquipi only produced 7 eggs in 5 minutes. Weird how it produced less than my control chiquipi, but that's not the only head scratcher in this experiment. So let's not dwell on that and move on to my next test subject. Next, I wanted to test a work speed boosting passive skill, so I chose Artisan, since I have that accessible at the PAL operating table after buying the implant, and it provides a big enough boost of 50% to show a clear difference. I repeated the experiment, and this time the Artisan chiquipi produced 9 eggs in 5 minutes. This is odd for 2 reasons. The first reason is that the unaltered control chiquipi already produced 8 eggs in 5 minutes, and the Artisan passive seemingly made little difference. The second reason this is odd is because I also got the same amount of eggs from the same Artisan chiquipi after just 3 minutes in a previous beta experiment, since I had to try this a few times to get it right with all the variables to consider. Either way, it looks like the Artisan passive, surprisingly, did not have much of an impact. So for my final test, I wanted to see how having max souls and the Artisan passive together impacted egg production at the ranch. My 4th and final chiquipi was given max souls for work speed at the stature of power and the Artisan passive. This soulful Artisan chiquipi produced 12 eggs in exactly 5 minutes. So basically what we can ascertain from this experiment is that passive skills and PAL souls alone are not enough to make an impactful difference to egg production at the ranch. Giving chiquipi the Artisan passive alongside max PAL souls was the only means of seeing an impactful increase in the amount of eggs produced. Of course, this is a generalisation. I'm obviously not perfect, so there may be things I've overlooked. Furthermore, I would have to do much longer experiments with other passives, and perhaps test these variables against chiquipis with different PAL essence condensing ranks to provide anything 100% conclusive. But my results of this particular experiment have me convinced that, while souls and passives don't do much on their own, together they do noticeably increase ranch item drop rates. Therefore, work speed does have a strangely unspoken conditional impact on ranch farming. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, guys, and if there are any other experiments you might want to see on the channel. I've been Heather at Paltopia, and thank you very much for watching.